Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 15, the Quarterfinals. Today, we're looking at MKNY taking on the Leftside Lunchboxes. Best of 3 series. See what happens.
Remaining.
Interesting scenario here, as this was also their Week 7 matchup. And last time we saw this scenario, Lunchboxes took a game off the MKNY. The Leftside Lunchboxes also had 2 stand-ins. So now we're going to figure out if secretly stand-ins were
10 seconds
were rigged.
5 seconds remaining.
MKNY starting off with a Dawnbreaker ban, which is probably not surprising. At this point, I believe that is a legitimate 100% PB with this team. Lunchbox is taking some interesting tolls there. Knocking out the Molsky Jakiro, knocking out the Razor. Just had some success on the MKNY lineup. MKNY just aiming straight for Looter. They just want that guy out of the game. Full stop. Lunchbox is going to start with Rubik, are not going to let Dark Ace have that one. Not a bad strategy, to be honest with you.
10 seconds remaining.
You're now pretty much... You haven't nullified the support line by any capacity. This is not one of those one hero wonder type support lines that you have put a pretty good dent in it by picking and banning one of their signatures apiece.
10 seconds remaining.
And of course you've ended up with Rubik, who's kind of a good hero anyway, going up against Tidehunter, who's not that great of a hero, and Marana, who is just kind of two guys who are good for Rubik to see. I don't know. There's not many bad skills that Rubik can get off of Tidehunter. Pretty much just Anchor Smash. You don't want that. And there's not really many bad skills you can get off Marana. I would say all of them are probably okay. I'm going to pick up the Ursa here. This is trying to make some effective use of that number 8 pick, as they say. One of the strongest picks on the entire board. Something I feel like I talked a lot more in prior seasons. Though certainly with the sudden patch, the meta shift kind of put the importance back onto the specific spot here. Ursa, Tidehunter is a ridiculous lane. They almost probably want to swap whatever they get out of this. Like, Tidehunter Marana is 2 melee creeps up against Ursa, and I don't care if it's Rubik or whatever else, it's not going to be good. That is a nightmare matchup. And to be frank, there's plenty of pause ones who can actually do you better in that specific scenario. Like, realistically, if we see, like, the BlueJay Weaver, which we've seen a few points of the season, it would not be a terrible idea to just send that guy there. See what happens. Certainly can't go worse than the Tidehunter. This is going to be food.
10 seconds
Windrunner, Death Prophet down. Clink Spectre down. Lunchbox is looking very firmly at BlueJay. So there we get a PPM ban. Here's hoping we see the PPM mid-lone druid this game. That will be fun.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Centaur's out.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Warlock is in. Really, don't get the Warlock so much here so far. It's not that great into the Rubik or into the Ursa. Maybe the idea is to try and stack some big damage with the Fatal Bonds plus the title. That's all I got.
Dire team pick.
All I got so far, anyway. He's going to have a Treant to contend with, so that's definitely going to be a very, very nasty lane. Ursa Treant is going to be very hard for them to deal with. They're going to be bringing up the Riki here, which is a bit interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like that much. Rubik has a lot of answers to that Riki.
5 seconds remaining.
Being able to knock off a lot of his damage isn't good. And Riki doesn't like to use BKB just to get rid of a Fade Bolt. And he's actually one of the better sources of things for Rubik to steal. Like, if Rubik gets your sleep dart, that's not bueno. It's very not bueno. If Rubik gets your smoke cloud, that's kind of equally not bueno. It's actually got a really good Rubik game here so far. Well, Earth is not really going to be able to probably comfortably 1v1 Ricky for most of this game in a core position. Certainly, Rubik and Treant, of all characters, can help him get through that. Like, you know, Ursa just builds, presumably, MKB, stands in the smoke cloud, and just eats him anyway. And if he needs to be emergency exited, he just gets Force Staffed, or he just gets telekinesis, and everything is good in the world. Med bands flying out everywhere, including a Skyrath Mage ban, and if Looter has lost his mind today. Juice Band's good. Would have been quite nasty against this team. Actually, would have been pretty bad for that team as well if they let that happen. Like if they brought the Zeus in, you know, get that World Lightning Fatal Bond action going on. It still works, right? I know they historically changed so many weird World Lightning interactions. It's actually kind of hard to know off the top of my head, but you know how it goes. It's not important in any case. We're not going to be seeing it today. But they do at least have the Fatal Bonds with the Ricky Circle thing now. So there's that. Of course, it's going to be the Ricky Circle thing into Treant Living Armor.
Radiant team pick Lena.
Lena. That's interesting. Shades of the late great patch before this one. We're going to be switching Looter and J-Bay or something?
5 seconds.
Sounds like Looter's much of a Lena player. I don't know how much Beastmaster J-Bay plays either. Certainly it's not a hero that conducive to his style. Lena, no longer quite so dominating, but certainly still very, very, very destructive in the hands of a seasoned Lena player, and J-Bay certainly is one. I believe it's his most played med. You know, Ursa doesn't even get to be like a bear. He's like a rabbit bear. Lame. Sorry to any rabbit bears in the audience today. Also looks like a total manlet with Treant in the middle like that. Rubik's taller than him too. Poor Ursa. Actually, the second shortest in the server, I believe, and he's barely taller than Ricky if you count Ricky's horns. And that back's doing a lot of work for Ursa, too. MKNY, I believe there's been a pause. Oh, there we go. PPM Sniper. It's going to be Matty Boy Rubik. The way these highlights are set up suggests that maybe the play is to hit the jump to game button. There we go. This is a little much into this game, Dota. Not exactly how I wanted to start here. Sure, this'll work. Feels like just yesterday I saw 7 out of 10 of these guys. Looter dodge? Yeah, that's true. Looter did ultimately dodge. It's gonna go, offlane this time.
Small, the world will hardly notice.
You should apologize.
Why is everybody in the world tipping J-Bay? Said how much pause time they have left, and everyone deposited their 50 cents. like it's a public service or something. It's going to be interesting. Of course, last time when they did get that win against this team, they did have JB mid. Oh no. I don't know if I'm that down with this concept. It certainly remains to be seen. So now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the cast. It's time for the roll call. For the Monkey Kings of New York, pause 1, you have captain of the team, tweet, it's BlueJay on the Ricky. Pause 2, you've got PPM, aka Peter, aka Sniper, taking on the Lena here. Pause 3, you have Kenny Lavender on the Tidehunter. Pause 4, you have Dark Ace on the Marana. And pause 5, you've got Molsky, 1-up. Used to be 1-up, Molsky, 1-up, and I would always say Molsky, 1-up, Molsky, which is the exact opposite of that, but in any case, he's Warlock today. And Ricky's gonna Blink Strike the poor board to death. That was 38 gold, Ricky. Was that worth it? Anyway, on the other side of the coin, for the Leftside Lunchboxes, pause 1, you have Lone Wolf on the Ursa. Pause 2, you have J-Bay on the Lena. Pause 3, captain of the team, usually the pause 2, you've got Looter on the Beastmaster. Pause 4, you've got Matty Boy on the Rubik. And pause 5, you've got Tall Balls on the Treon Protector with a big honkin' nose. So far, fairly uneventful land phase. My brief glimpse into the future told me that that things would continue to be uneventful. See, that time there was no 2 Blink Strikes for it, you just got 32 gold. That's less than 1 melee creep, by the way, is what you get for that boar, so don't worry too much about going out of your way for it unless it's specifically tearing you up a lot for damage. The longer this lane phase goes on, the worse it's going to get for the MKNY offlane. You know, now, like, starting out now, it's going to be okay. In fact, the Tidehunter's actually leading for last hits and almost just got a free deny there because Lursa walked away with half a job done, but the longer things go on, the worse things get. I didn't comment much about the Sniper pick because there was that pause going on that had to be addressed, but should be okay here. You do have the perilous idea for a lot of the game of the Beastmaster doesn't even necessarily need to shout you. All that happens is LSA or tree ult, and you're still probably dead, though. That is probably the most reliable way they're going to be getting rid of that guy.
My thanks.
Gee, Matty, if only there was some kind of skill you could use to heal people. That way you wouldn't need to have all that regen for Ursa. Note, this is balls breaking. Do not take this as a flame. That's our mysterious mystery commentator who flames trees for doing that. Wait, was it our mysterious mystery commentator, or was it like our mysterious mystery commentator's actual name? I actually forget. Oh well. I might have just broken kayfabe, sorry everybody. Either way, either whoever that actually is or the fake identity we made for him as a caster flames trees that do that, so look at him, not me. So, not going for his overpower here at all. A bit interesting. Saving it for level 4, I suppose. It's a bit odd, because, you know, you hit the Tidehunter. Like, you hit W around Tidehunter, you just has to walk to T1, so. Especially if you have the tree E, which you do now that he's level 3. So Lone Wolf putting the clock back on when he's going to be super annoying this lane. Molsky showing a reason why Warlock is really annoying outside of just using his Q and his W in lanes. That upheaval can be pretty nasty. I mean, if you don't think about this skill much, and a lot of Warlocks just genuinely don't use it almost at all. I remember for a long time the meta was literally don't even like level it. Really sit there, you know, read that skill. I mean, I just left it on, so you're done reading it now, right? But If you aren't, go back a few seconds, or just look right now. Here it is one more time. Read that skill, and really look at some of the things that you get on that. You get your DPS, and that's one thing. You also get that ridiculous up to 100% slow at the max level. Even at base level, they still get a 55% slow with some nice DPS on that, so certainly a skill, especially for the low mana cost. If you're not going up against the most reliable of stuns, or if you're in a situation where they have to walk up quite close to you, or what have you, that upheaval can be kind of nasty business. They have one stun in this whole lane, so if that goes down, then, you know. Or if you just want to force it, so BlueJay gets a few minutes of just completely free space, it's not a bad idea either. Again, BlueJay, you just blink struck a board that gave you less money than a melee creep. Do you feel satisfied? It's animal cruelty. And you're basically playing as an animal, so it's definitely notable there. Speaking of definitely notable, it's definitely noticeable what an annoyance the upheaval is to the Beastmaster there, as he's just having to sit there and basically watch Ricky do a wave for free every time that Rubik walks out of the lane. Which, I mean, he would, to a degree, would almost kind of have to do that anyway, but like the upheaval just really seals the deal. Like, you can't even get boar harassed when Warlock's doing that. If that's part of the reason they picked Warlock, it's very three-dimensional thinking when it comes down to it, as far as Warlock picks go. But I do kind of approve of that. If your idea is to be annoying with the Q and the E, rather than necessarily the W and the R, which is what most Warlock picks are all about. I guess in LD2L it's mostly you mostly do it for Fatal Bonds and all, really, and everything else is just icing. Ah, Lone Wolf finally hit that W. Unfortunately, Matty Boy is very dead. So J-Bay is here, and he's got a haste rune. And he's got a W to hit, and he's got an arrow to get hit by. And okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, I guess there is a way for Tidehunter to win this lane. It's for the enemy lineup to just kind of throw themselves into his mouth over and over.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That, to be frank, that is nuts. This should be like not just a bad lane for Tidehunter. This should be absolutely unplayable. So it's a bit surprising that that happened at 6. Without even involving his ult. I believe he was 5 when that was going down. Versus still 5 as it stands. Tidehunter going deep for this. Dark Ace going to sacrifice his life for it. No rotations up here, which is interesting, because, you know, anybody who looks at the Tidehunter funny in a dive like that, he's dead, but they were busy down bot dying themselves, and yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
To say that this should not happen is an understatement. Unfortunately, to say that that has that much bearing on the rest of the game would also be kind of an exaggeration on the other side of the coin. Because even if you manage to do this, which is not exactly going to be the easiest soft lane to win in the world if I haven't given that one away already. Well, certainly to suck for you real quick here. And they're very low. And they're very dead.
I was born to war. You died to it.
I'm no more than the server that he just took out there. That's really more of your typical Tidehunter versus Ursa experience there. Just, he's going to be a little faster than you, and he has his slow. He just kind of hits W, and you go. Ursa has decided it is now Battle Fury time.
Dire's middle tower is under
Polsky has decided it's be up here time. In a few moments, well, he was just shy of entering into the much more exciting not exist at all time. It's a head scratcher. I wish I was watching this lane a little bit more. Maybe it's a really solid Mirana play. That could definitely be a factor here. It's not, it just seems very, I don't know. I played that before. I played it on camera. And it didn't work out very well, to say the least.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Turning into more of a bigger brouhaha here. Tidehunter thinks about ulting there, it ultimately decides against it. At this point, though, the genie's kind of out of the bottle, more or less. Okay.
Dire's top tower is
Kind of an eye for an eye here on the ults. But Lone Wolf walks right into a golem with
Dire's top tower is
not
under
much to
attack.
sustain himself. Almost regrets it, but doesn't get to walk away. It's a lot. That is much ado about nothing in no uncertain terms. It's a lot of resources used by both sides to not accomplish much. More resources, certainly more precious resources used, I believe, on the part of the Radiant, though. It's probably a net win for the Dire. Polsky's gonna get eaten back here, never mind. They're gonna kind of turn around for him, and without many reliable stuns over here, it's not that hard to just walk away from the big stupid bear.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Or to have the big stupid bear just walk into you at pretty low health and just go down. It's always a possibility. Seems like Lone Wolf is not doing his best, unfortunately, in terms of his resource management with his HP, which might explain why things have not started out the best for him.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's
I mean, I do hate to say it.
fallen.
I know I'm harping on this
Dire's
point a lot,
structures are fortified.
but I do think if you lose that lane, especially to that degree, then the other side did a good job. I think even if you do bad, the other side has to do a good job, but you definitely have to do bad. Both of those things have to happen, unfortunately, for Tidehunter to win like this, especially to this degree. Like, to Tidehunter win at all is going to take at least one of those. But to win that decisively like that, maybe,
What sort of prize?
you know, Lone Wolf, relatively new in this circuit. Perhaps the glitter of the big lights getting to his head a little bit here. Who knows?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Either way, Tidehunter's finished up Greaves, and Ricky has done pretty much exactly as well in this lane, though this is much less of a surprise. The Warlock-Ricky combination. They were going to be able to stop that very effectively in the lane phase. Though, it didn't stop them that much from laning themselves. Warlock there just going to
Under attack.
commit Madiant.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And JB just going to go home.
Is under attack.
I guess even if Ursa personally is
Dire's
going to
middle tower is under
snack
attack.
on the big stupid watermelon, perhaps having two melees into a Mirana that knows how to play this hero wasn't in your best interest. Perhaps that's part of it as well. I don't know. It's a very mind-blowing thing to have witnessed if the commentary so far has not given that one away. Lone Wolf. BlueJay, okay. That's perhaps bigger news That man is currently the #1 on the server. Yep, that's rough.
Fails me.
This combination of heroes is going to be really tough in individual scenarios to avoid having that happen to you. If Chebe and Looter are in the same place at the same time and you're alone, they find you, you're dead. If they want you dead, you're dead. That can happen to Sniper, or it can happen to Ricky, and it can happen incredibly at any point in the game, realistically. Harder to get Tidehunter with that, though. There's that. I pinged it, somebody got it. They do listen to me.
Dire are scanning.
By the way, I don't think I mentioned this so far on this cast, but if you're sitting here asking when Randy is going to say something, unfortunately, despite what I said, real life has intervened once again, reared its ugly head, and unfortunately Randy will not be able to join us for these, so he has assured me at the very least he will be able to join for the live game, so whoever wins this game is going to at least get that live game casted by him tonight, as we speak. It is Sunday, hello. Ace is going to kind of walk into some pain here, though the stuns don't come out fast enough to actually keep him there, which is a bit unfortunate. Definitely didn't just adjust my headset there. They're taking his little private militia to bully the camp here. I like getting that creep just to spawn a billion skeletons and just have a million units on the map that mostly are terrible and do nothing. Doing a go here. It started out, I believe, smoke on Tidehunter, but it turned into a smoke on Molsky, and unfortunately it's now going to turn into a smoke on Molsky's Golem as well. It's not like 100 gold is going to be that much. Again, that's, what, 2 creeps? But you did just give them 100 gold for literal free there, which is a bit unfortunate. And of course you also blew that cooldown for, you know, 160 seconds. Which means you are half a hero for that amount of time. One of the precious few reliable stuns on the server is now gone. Honestly, I'm a little surprised Tall Balls isn't actually going the Meteor Hammer there. As much of a meme as the Meteor Hammer is, I think it's actually a pretty good game for it. Neither him nor Beastmaster seem to be going for it, at least at the present.
Death's bounty.
Money to burn. Haste.
Ursa is trying to get this game back in control. Has finished up his Battle Fury. He's still the lowest value net worth core, and is still 2k down for many of the guys on the Radiant. Which is a bit unfortunate. Good news is he just got a Brigand's Blade, which is like ridiculously good for him, so there's that. Four-man smoke on the part of Looter's Lunchboxes. Leftside Lunchboxes, rather. First, it's looking like it's going to get popped by Molsky, but it might be on the Sniper. Yep. He just went right on top of him, stacked all their stuns at once, and then he died. That was maybe an overcommitment, but I guess when you're behind to this degree, it's not the worst thing to have happen to the enemy mid.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
And Ursa was farming away doing that, so, you know, while Ricky was also farming away doing that, it's a profit for him and a profit for everybody on his team, rather than a profit for him and a net negative for the enemy's side. Gonna go all in trying to get Lone Wolf here, but he's just gonna kind of hit R and say no thank you. Tall Balls doesn't have his R. And they're actually, despite the deficit, they're actually turning this around rather well. He very nearly, in fact, has gone down. Warlock soon to follow. Oh, Warlock actually is going to get to live. Lena desperately wanted to get the fuck out of here. Does not get it, and in fact pops the regen before he dies, just so he won't be able to use that at some point in his next life. That ain't good, that's sniper problems. I guess in fairness, it wouldn't be really applicable in a more regular, like a later team fight, because they still kill him just as easily in those later team fights, it's just that he doesn't respond fast enough to just come back and kill everybody in that time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, the kill on Lena got its own fight recap. How nice.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And even got my one F-bomb allotted per stream, which means that now we're PG-13, baby. Put the kids to bed. Luckily, Molsky is just barely old enough to watch, so that's fine. He should be accounted for. Unfortunately, while Molsky might be old enough to watch, he might not be old enough to live. Ooh, good LSA there. I don't know if that needed the Laguna, but it's probably fine. Again, at a place like this, any kill you get is fine, and they got both of those kills for free with things that are not that long a cooldown. I mean, it's only like a minute, and there is no way in hell anything interesting is happening inside of that minute. Any Lavender might finish his Ags in that time. In fact, I believe that might be coming out to him now, yes. Indeed it is, as well as a Fluffy Hat, which is a dead league. That's the Tide Owner Ags out now, which is going to make their ways a lot more miserable. But it's not going to do much to the towers, unfortunately for me. He doesn't have that old shard anymore. So he's not going to be able to do much to the towers when he gets there, and that Treant E might be able to balance it out. Of course, in fights, that's not going to matter at all. Sniper's going to drop his shrapnel on Lena, who's going to thank him for it by denying all the creeps in that wave. BlueJay. This is a hero. The mascot of the team he may be playing against this week if he wins the series. And they get to yell at Sniper. And no stun stacking this time. I do like how Rubik got the Sniper E. And I do like how Sniper was so busy tipping that he just got assassinated. Fortunately for the Lunchboxes, as big of a deal as that was, Ursa just completely randomly died to Ricky at top. And Lena joined him.
I don't have time for this. What are you doing?
And BlueJay even got the creep. It's always a shame to see people rush Ags but go the anchor smash damage trait anyway. It's really funny to have that ridiculous 10% extra slow on that. So what is that? 50% slow on your big stupid AoE gush. Astoundingly, Sniper personally was worth so much that even though he was the only death and 3 of the enemy team went down, they actually still made money off of it. Not nearly as much money as Irradiant made, mind you, but they still actually did make some money. Which is kind of funny. Even through all the deaths, because that does calculate the deaths properly, even if it Doesn't calculate buyback. Everybody reconverts this northwest outpost, and things slow down a little bit. Beastmaster gets a completely illegible trade, but luckily we're already clicked on him. Wow, okay. Very specific trait right there. Must have been very much fun programming that one. This is like the worst game ever to be a creep in. Like, it's horrible. You've got the Tide Hunter who just spits up waves and they die. You've got the Lena who spits up waves and they die. You've got the Warlock Fatal Bonds for waves. You've got the Shrapnel to get through. You've got the Ricky Circle to get through. Ursa's Battle Fury. The Treant Crab. You've got the Rubik Fade Bolt. And of course you've got the Private Looter Militia. Exercising their right to bear arms against the entire waves. It's like, I would not be terribly surprised if this game goes on terribly long, if eventually all three of these waves just start being, like, mostly confined to even the winning teams, just mostly confined to the back line of both of their sides. It's going to be very hard to push from the word go here. It's likely going to benefit the Lunchboxes, as it's going to be less frequent opportunities to hit towers as a result, which means more frequent opportunities to heal towers as a result. See if Treant's doing a good job keeping them topped off. Ooh. Skill off CD. Report tall balls. Should have never picked him. For a second I thought they healed his Ancient on the Treant Protector, which would have been even more report tall balls, but go there on the Beastmaster does not pan out. Lena just pushing out these sideways here. No travels right now, which is a bit unfortunate. She's kind of great value, Lena. But that's okay. Listen, even if you're great value, Lena, you can still put the great in great value. I'm gonna find a Roche attempt here. That's a little late. Matty Boy is just never gonna get the arrow that he really wants. The arrow or the ult that he really wants at Mirana. It feels like every time I've seen it, it's always Starfall that he gets out of that. I feel like I've seen him disproportionately frequently stealing into Mirana too. Probably wouldn't be a terrible idea. Like, if you steal off a Titan, you're gonna get that Axe Gush, right? It's gonna be nice. Steal off a Ricky, get yourself a Smoke Cloud. Or a Backstab, that would also be funny. And I get an Elven Tunic, that's very convenient for her. She's going right for Ags, which is interesting. It's going very heavily on the spell damage in this game, which is a bit fascinating. I guess to make room for Ursa to do all the fizz damage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
MKNY making the tower, ask why. Well, not Peter, he's sponsored by shoes. All of them. Not sponsored by, he's on Team Shoe. He makes them, I guess.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We're going to make this a slightly longer affair, but not by terribly much. The Dire's top T2 goes right down there.
Bottom tower is under attack.
No resistance at all. You know, still trying to rat out on the sides here. It's getting a little antsy, even though the enemy team is very visible here at top. Not exactly sure why. Just leaves Ricky's around, maybe? Getting a bit more confident now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's
Okay.
bottom tower has fallen.
Awkward time for Earth to just be AFK, right there, I gotta say.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Why Laguna him? He deserved to get instant kill by Ricky. And Ricky deserved to be instant killed by Ursa. Actually, Ursa's just gonna kinda insta kill a lot of people in this fight.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That snipey man is a little hard to get to. Well, the bad news is that they just had to blow the Lena buyback. The good news is that sure made Ursa look real goddamn scary. He really doesn't have all that much either. Ursa's just tearing through people at this level. You know. In fairness, I believe with the 9-second, 9-second BKB. Still, if he's tearing through people at that level on your Aegis fight, right? Ricky just turns to a smoke cloud himself in that encounter. It's a good look. It's a good sign for Ursa. This is a good Ursa game at the end of the day, no two ways about it, as long as the sniper can be dealt with, as long as somebody can get to him. It's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. But certainly, it's very feasible to see, if even with this 11k net worth advantage, if like a Beastmaster roll comes out on top of this guy's head, all of a sudden he ain't expecting it, and Ursa is there. Sniper is gone. No two ways about it. Go for a Basher next. Hoping to be a small source of what is otherwise pretty lacking CC on both parties in this game. I mean, again, the Radiant has plenty of CC, it's just that CC they get to do like 3 times an hour. So. It's the kind of CC that's available so rarely that it's a special occasion in and of itself when you get to use it. Like you have to, you bring out a little cake for all this team stunts. At least till BlueJay gets his bash, which he does have here. So it has bridged that gap a little bit. He's also heading right for the Ags. Bash a little bit more. Presumably he's gonna get a. Oh, okay. Finally got to steal that arrow. And it immediately leads to a kill. Ricky's gonna try and go the other way here. Treant doing a great job in this fight. Playing a very effective point guard here. Beastmaster coming out from the back, getting the job fully done here. Lone Wolf just desperately wanted to be a part of this fight, but unfortunately he's still at like 30% HP, and he's hitting fake Rickies. And he's dead. Okay, that didn't look good.
Say goodbye to your head.
Oh boy.
Gold for me.
Lunar forgot he had the funny dust. Ultimately, a victory for the Radiant, not a overwhelming victory, but a victory nonetheless. Probably the biggest achievement is getting rid of the Lena there, who is died back, unfortunately. Trail Dolta is up relatively soon. So they have to brave another uphill there. Probably can. Probably do okay. Tree, just spamming out heals on buildings as often as he can. Radiant just pushing out here. Perhaps trying to top last game's week for excitement. Still no travels on Lena, which is really interesting considering like the way she's kind of playing. She's kind of playing like she has travels and is going to build travels. She's just not. Her boots are locked even. There's not really much thought about that here, it seems. Oh my god, Warlock has Vizier Eye. Alright, I guess the guy does have a billion mana, so it's probably okay. I always get what this item does backwards for some reason. I always assume it's more mana, less cast range, but it's the exact opposite of that. Very strange. Sniper just finished Daedalus, which is bad news for any Ursa fans in the audience. Actually, definitely a very good Sniper Gleipnir game if he wants to do that. Very luckily for MKNY, Roche is going to take his sweet time to respawn here. But luckily in like an unironic way. Lots of people just kind of hanging out here at the jungle, around the outpost spot. Yags is done. Looking to finish Abyssal next. And finish out his own Daedalus. For some reason, Ricky's not going Silver Edge. I wonder why that might be. Gonna just slow siege up here, top T3. And yeah, just take it out, no questions asked. Only resistance being towards the poor creep wave in front of it. Lena Ags is finished. And this ain't happening, right? Oh, this is a good trio. Got responded to very quickly though with the title. And Beastmaster just yelled at himself. And now the game is over. Wow. Okay. Well, it's amazing how much one item can change things. They do have 3 buybacks here. But it's kind of hard to see what you do with it. A Beastmaster yelling at himself is not actually that bad of a scenario. Usually when Beastmaster yells at himself, he got more out of yelling at you than you got from yelling back at him. But not this game. This game we're going to cheat you out at 37 minutes. MKNY going to go home with a victory. Which is good. I mean, it's not good if you're the Lunchboxes, but hey, I like short games. A lot more interesting to call than the longer games. I mean, I think this is kind of what you talk about sometimes when you talk about the last pick surprise on in LD2L circumstances. I don't think they really thought, for the most part, that the sniper was coming out there. I don't think the thought was in their head, but it was. Sniper just came out, and Sniper just walked all over the Lunchboxes. It did not feel like it was much of a contest when PPM had his way. Again, some sort of divine intervention gave Kenny Lavender the top lane. Maybe one day I'll look back at this replay to see the exact details of how he did that rather than predominantly speculating on it. Good game on Dark Ace's part there as well. That Lotus Orb there definitely in that last fight certainly had a very notable impact as Beastmaster just, you know, basically exploded when he got a taste of his own medicine. But I mean, yeah, MKNY had just one thing to do this game. This is a PBM's last season game. Just 5 protect 1 on them, and it pretty much worked out. Let's see what happens next time.